Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I hope you guys are all doing great. My name is Clarissa Surpris. I'm the Public Affairs Manager for SoCal Gas, and tonight I'd like to welcome you to the 2022 Candidates Forum for the City of Yorba Linda. So we hope you find tonight's forum informative and educational as you all prepare to make an important decision on the November 8th election. We have a lot in store, so before we begin, if you can, I ask that you please rise at this time so we may pledge allegiance to the flag. Here on your left. And put your right hand over your heart and ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce Anthony Johnson, Yorba Linda Chamber of Commerce, Chairman-elect, and Yorba Linda Traffic Commissioner. Anthony?
Thank you, Clarissa, and good evening, everyone. Welcome. Just want to make a quick note that we do have the Orange County Sheriff's Deputy here on the property for security purposes. I would like to introduce some board members, the Candidate Forum Committee, special guests, and dignitaries, as well as our sponsor. I would like to introduce Claudia Waddell. She is on the board of directors. Everyone can clap. And then we also have Cindy DeMint, who is an ambassador with the Yorba Linda Chamber of Commerce. We have Ryan Orr, who is the administrative executive for the Yorba Linda Chamber of Commerce. And then we have Angie Webb, who is a junior ambassador with the Yorba Linda Chamber of Commerce. The Candidate Forum Committee members is made up of our moderators, Cynthia Quimby from SoCal Edison, Clarissa Surplus with SoCal Gas, Alex Hernandez, Community Relations Officer or Director, and Yorba Linda Library Commissioner. And then myself, Anthony Johnson, Chair-elect of the Board and Yorba Linda Traffic Commissioner. I would like to thank SoCal Edison for sponsoring this candidate forum. And with that, I would like to introduce our moderator for the evening, Cynthia Quimby.
Thanks so much, Anthony, and good evening, Yorba Linda. It's really great to be here. I'm very happy to be serving as your moderator this evening, very excited for tonight. And Southern California Edison is a proud partner of the Yorba Linda Chamber of Commerce, also a very proud partner of the City of Yorba Linda. And we're really happy to be here this evening with you all. So, it's great to see a great turnout here at City Hall, and I want to thank all of those in the audience who've made time to be with us this evening. Also want to thank those who are watching tonight on Spectrum Channel 3. We're also streaming tonight on Facebook Live, and so for all of those watching online, welcome. We appreciate your engagement in the civic and political process. So I want to make clear tonight's event is meant to be a forum and not a debate. The purpose of the program tonight is really to get to know our candidates running for city council, get to know, where you stand on the issues. To ensure that we provide the candidates with enough time to share their views, we ask the audience for your assistance in holding applause until the end. We just did a lot of applause just now, so hopefully you got that out of your system. We'd also appreciate it if you could refrain from other forms of expression throughout the program. And just a reminder to please also silence your cell phones. The format tonight is going to be as follows. Each of the candidates is going to provide us with a 2-minute opening statement, and then we're going to be going into a series of questions on issues of importance. All of these questions have been submitted by members of the Chamber of Commerce. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond to each of the questions. If a candidate chooses to call out one of their opponents by name, and that candidate has already spoken, we will give the candidate a 30-second rebuttal so that they can respond to what was said. But again, not meant to be, you don't need to mention your opponents by name. This is really meant to be about you. We want to hear about you. The candidates are seated, and they'll be providing opening statements in the order that they will be appearing on the ballot. And then we're going to rotate the order for each question thereafter. So whoever spoke first for a prior question will speak last for the next question, and this is in an effort to be fair this evening. Want to ask the candidates also if you could please keep your answers to 2 minutes. We're in the very technologically advanced, City Hall chambers here in Yorba Linda, and we do have lights that will go off when, green means go, you have time to speak. Yellow means you have about 30 seconds, and red means please finish your sentence. And there will be a buzzer as well. We'll close out the program tonight with kind of a fun, rapid lightning round, and this is really supposed to be just an opportunity for us to get to know you a little bit on a personal level, and then we'll, of course, close out with 2-minute closing statements at the very end. So with that, let's get started. Are you guys excited? Yeah. All right. You've been waiting all day for this. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started with our opening statements. Again, 2 minutes each, and we're going to start with Trustee Ryan Bent.
Thank you very much. My name is Ryan Bent, and I am running for City Council because I care deeply about this city. I was fortunate to be raised in the city along with my wife, and now we are raising our own 4 children here. And we actually have kids in all grade levels now, as far as we have one in college, high school, junior high, and elementary this year. I'm the only one up here on this dais who has been elected twice by the people of Yorba Linda. And I'm also the only one here that's been appointed 3 times by the City Council. I currently serve as trustee of the North Orange County Community College District, and so I'm elected by about 99% of Yorba Linda, all of Brea, all of La Habra Heights, part of La Habra, Fullerton, Placentia, and Anaheim. I've been serving there. This is now my 6th year. I was reelected 2 years ago, and in this case, there is actually no conflict between the office or the schedule. So my intention is to do both offices. Like I said, I decided to run because I felt like there was a definite need for me to be in this race. Other than that, I'm a library commissioner for the city as well. So I've been a library commissioner for the last 6 years, 7 years now. And I was integral in building the library and getting all that planned. Prior to that, I was on the General Plan Advisory Committee, which does the 20-year general plan for the city. And that is the core strategic document that the City Council relies upon. I am definitely the grassroots candidate in this race. I came into the race late, but I had a lot of support from the community, and I'm very excited to be in here competing for a position. So I appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mayor Rodriguez.
Good evening, friends and neighbors. 4 years ago, you elected me to protect the safety of our neighborhoods and preserve the quality of life that makes Yorba Linda such a great community. I've worked hard to listen to residents and to deliver results for the improvement of our city. During my first term, I supported the highest level of law enforcement protection for our neighborhoods. I've oversaw the opening of our exceptional new library and cultural arts center on time and on budget, which could have been derailed by the pandemic. I worked collectively with my city council colleagues to attract new shopping and dining amenities at the town center and packing house. I partnered successfully with our local water district to give Yorba Linda access to innovative firefighting resources that will protect our homes from wildfires. As your representative on the Air Quality Management District, I secured nearly $3 million in outside funding to replace the school district's aging buses with safer, new zero-emission school buses for our children. We expanded our equestrian facilities, improved our trail systems, and supported the city's exciting new adventure playground, which is now under construction. I oppose Sacramento's flawed high-density housing requirements in Yorba Linda. We deserve a housing plan that reflects our local values, not the dictates of state politicians. As your mayor, I'm very proud of our city's success. Yorba Linda is consistently ranked as one of California's safest cities. And the real estate website Zillow recently rated Yorba Linda as one of the top 10 communities in the nation to buy a home. Finally, our city continues to meet the highest standards of financial management. Thanks to our taxpayer-friendly approach, we've been able to provide outstanding community services while maintaining a healthy budget reserve and protecting Yorba Linda residents from excessive public pension debt. This record of accomplishment has earned the support of small businesses, taxpayer organizations, and public safety leaders. I respectfully ask for your vote to continue the progress of our amazing community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Janice Lim.
Hi, good evening. First, I want to begin by thanking the Yorba Linda Chamber of Commerce for allowing me to participate in tonight's event. It's an honor to be here. I've been an active member of this committee for over 15 years, and I've serviced projects and organizations for over 25 organizations. in this community. And I served years here in the Parks and Recreation Commissioner and also led the largest Serve Day event here in Yorba Linda, which is Love Yorba Linda. My history of service is that I just don't join a group, but I lead and implement many programs. I garner grants and dive into some very complicated issues in order to enhance the daily lives of our community members. And now it's time for me to step out of the volunteer role and to step into the elected office role. The reason my husband and I moved to Yorba Linda to raise our children was because, like many of you, we want safe neighborhoods, good schools, good parks, open space, a library, and great amenities. Yorba Linda is the land of gracious living. That vision is a catalyst of my 3-point program, which includes the continued focus of public safety, improve our local economy, and improve on our public engagement. In my role on City Council, I will utilize my business and architecture degrees. I have extensive experience in urban planning and development and design and feasibility analysis. And I will make sure to block any efforts at stack housing and ultra-high density development that dilutes the design intention of our uniqueness of our city. Let me state clearly, I do not support state mandates, and I don't want to lose local control. For over the past decade, I've worked on a variety of issues and met and forged relationships with several elected officials. Through that hard work. Oh, here we go. That is why so many endorsed me in my office, my candidacy. I'd like to call out Young Kim, Congresswoman Young Kim, as well as former Congress member Ed Royce, Assemblyman Philip Chin, Council members Tara Campbell and Beth Haney, and many more. And we'll continue to work hard in a higher capacity once on council. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And just for the sake, of being fair, if everybody could just try to stop. I know it's really hard, but when you hear that buzzer go. All right, we're going to get into the issues portion of our program tonight. So first question, this is going to be directed at Mayor Carlos Rodriguez. Yorba Linda is known as the land of gracious living, as Janice just said. If elected to the City Council for a 4-year term, what do you believe needs to be changed or maintained to ensure Yorba Linda remains a great place to live, do business, and raise a family?
Well, first and foremost, I should turn off my mic. First and foremost, public safety. I'm proud of the work that our council has done in coordination and collaboration with our public safety providers. And so we are currently one of the safest cities in not only California, but among cities nationally with residents under 70,000. We are in the 95th percentile of one of the safest. So we need to continue to do all we can to provide the resources for both police and fire. I was pleased that we continue to prioritize public safety through collaborative efforts with our North Orange County Public Safety Collaborative Task Force. There was recently $390,000 that was invested to fund a deputy to teach drug use is life abuse curriculum in our schools. So we want to continue to leverage those resources, make those investments not only in public safety, but also making sure that we're doing all we can on the education front. That's just last meeting, we voted collectively in support of the Orange County Fire Authority's purchase of 2 all-hazard firefighting and rescue helicopters worth $58 million. These new helicopters will significantly enhance the amount of water deployed during our next fire, which will save lives and prevent the destruction of homes. So anytime we can invest in public safety, and if I wasn't running out of time, I would also say that we want to make sure we're doing all we can to continue to be a business-friendly city. There should never be any businesses that are leaving Yorba Linda, and we want to do all we can to attract businesses. And a little bit later, I'm sure we'll have a chance to talk about all the new restaurants and businesses that we've had in the city in the last 4 years. Thank you.
Well, public safety is always something as our first priority and should always be the first priority in our city. It doesn't really matter what else we get right in our community if our kids and if our residents and our local business don't feel safe. We spend about, There we go. We spend about 35% of our budget here as in public safety. So we're going to maintain that and prioritize public safety as our number one. Some of the key issues that we're faced right now is the fentanyl use and the national crisis that we're faced against for our young kids. This is a problem, and we need to put this as one of our highest priority in education and dealing with the accessibility for our children. Also, I work on the local hazard mitigation committee, and I work with the local sheriffs as well as our fire department, as well as our Congresswoman Young Kim, where we set up some safety measures of preparedness and evacuation, and also a self-defense class. So those are some things that we're working on right now and we'd like to maintain. Some of the improvements in our local economy is, as we notice, there's a lot of vacancy in our businesses and our shops. And also when we go to our restaurant, our favorite restaurants, we dine here, staffing's always been an issue. So I've been working with the chamber as well as our school district in getting more staffing available, as many of them are graduating with certified food handling degrees. And lastly, part of my third plan program is public engagement. That's probably one of the things that Yorba Linda really needs to work on, especially with this housing element that we're faced against the state mandate. It's making the right choices in this development is critical because it sets the future of our city. So we got to get it right, and so engagement needs to be a little bit more tactful and a little bit more strategic. But those are the things I would work on. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bent?
Yes, so public safety is obviously crucial to having quality of life in a city, but when you ask that question about gracious living, what I think about immediately is the people. I think it's the people that make our city gracious, and they're the ones that make a huge difference. And I think some of the things we were missing over the last couple of years with the COVID pandemic and everything else is just the interaction that we get with our people. So to me, the things that keep our community gracious are things like athletic programs, the library programs that we do, the Arts and Cultural Arts Center, all the things that bring our people together, the different events and the programs and the services that the city offers. And I don't want to say we take public safety for granted, because nothing can happen without a safe environment to do all these things. But it's always been the people, to me, that make a huge difference. And I'll tell a quick story because I was thinking about this earlier. I used to play Little League back on this Little League field right behind us, West Yorba Linda Little League field. And my last game was against some of my best friends and football teammates from East Yorba Linda, All-Stars. And I had a home run against them, and when I ran around the bases, they all congratulated me, every single one of them. It was probably their last game of their Little League career, but they all congratulated me because that's the kind of people we have in the city. And they congratulated me after the game too. And it's just one of those things that people have sportsmanship in this city. They care about others legitimately. And it's not all about what you feel about yourself. It's actually about how you take care of your neighbor. So that's, to me, is what makes our city so strong. And to me, the services that we provide that bring people together is what we all should be striving to continue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, the next couple of questions are going to be on the topic of business and economic development. And we're going to start this one with Janice Lim. Question is, businesses have been increasingly choosing Yorba Linda as their home in recent years, but the city still continues to have vacant retail spaces like the original Pancake House location. What do you believe is the greatest opportunity for economic development in the city?
Well, I think our city's been doing a really good job in trying to attract more businesses here in Yorba Linda. I think one of the things that we do notice is the vacancy and how to attract them. I think if we lower fees and taxes, that we don't overtax these or over leverage these businesses coming into our community, and to make it more attractive, maybe incentivize them. These are things that I've worked on in my previous field in real estate and property management, and it's trying to figure out how to get more businesses in. And maybe it's tenant improvements, maybe it's something that the city could work on in terms of attracting them to come here to make it more feasible for them to come in. It's really expensive to start out here with tenant improvements, so that's something that we could really work on. Thank you.
Mr. Bent?
This is an area of strength for our city right now, so I certainly hope to continue that trend, but I give nothing but compliments to our city staff and our city council who have been so involved in attracting great businesses to our city. I know Target's coming in. I know Denny's is opening up a second location. And really, I talked to a lot of business owners as well with the Chamber of Commerce. And it's really amazing how some of these businesses were able to survive during the pandemic times. It was very difficult for them to survive. I know the city took a lot of steps to help them. There was even grants that were given out to businesses where they could get $10,000 each for, I think, 250 businesses. So it was about $2.5 million the city set aside to keep people afloat. So those kind of things are very important because that allows us to keep these businesses that have worked so hard to get roots here, and they were starting to do so well before the pandemic hit, and I am so glad that so many of them survived. And a lot of credit needs to go to our current city council and all the staff that really fought to help them out in any way they could. And I asked a lot of those owners, and because what could have been done better, and there were some things that could be done better, but ultimately they're here and they're happy to be here, and they know that a lot of the issues that they face were coming from the state level and even the federal level. As a local government, to me, our goal should be to shield like our residents and our businesses from the level above when they are heavy-handed. And a couple times during the pandemic, the next levels above got a little heavy-handed for sure. But I know our city council did everything they could to do what they could do to help businesses survive, and I'm very happy about that because I love the businesses in the city, and we want to keep them growing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Rodriguez.
Thank you. I would agree that is an area of strength for our city. And also an area of strength is our Chamber of Commerce. They do an exceptional job, and I think it's that relationship that we have in working with the Chamber as advocates for business. That's in the DNA of our city and why we continue to thrive. And I will continue to do everything I can to support our Chamber and our businesses. I've worked in the public and the private sector for over 25 years. I understand business and what the challenges are for businesses. Local shopping and dining are a major driver of our community's sense of place. Our strategy for economic development is twofold. We do everything we can to help existing Yorba Linda businesses succeed, and we also proactively attract new great businesses so residents can shop and dine in Yorba Linda. So we're going to continue those mayor meet and greets, meeting with businesses that go on. Exciting to see this formula of success result in the opening of In-N-Out Burger, Crumble Cookies, a Maserati dealership. We're excited to have Clyde's Hot Chicken, Lone Wolf Brewing. That one in particular, sitting in a meeting for almost 2 hours with county health. I'm hands-on. I want to make sure that I'm deferential to staff, but when a business owner asks for my assistance, I'm going to sit down and collaborate with, in that case, county health. And we're excited to see we're this close. In fact, this Saturday, there's going to be a pre-opening for a Lone Wolf Brewery. So ask Mr. Ruiz about how we work together, and he'll vouch for you and what we did with Lone Wolf Brewing. We're excited about the Target that's coming to town, and also the opportunity to continue to invest in Main Street. I think that's a great opportunity for us. I'll speak to the original Pancake House just for a moment. There are things that we can do and things that we aren't able to do. And part of that is a negotiation going on between potential tenants and property owners. And so those are the challenges we're trying to do, is be supportive as best we can. Thank you.
More of a chance to talk, and we're going to have one more business question here. So, and you jumped the gun. You knew what I was going to ask. The Yorba Linda Chamber of Commerce is one of the oldest institutions in the city. We're serving as a champion and voice for businesses. As a city council member, how will you work with the chamber to advocate for businesses and the local economy? And we'll start this with Mr. Ryan Bent.
Sure. Well, I mean, for one thing, I think that, I've joined the networking events because I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and I would certainly like to have more businesses come together for those events. I wish there was more business owners there I could have talked to. So I think we need to get together more, because when you have people in the room that are facing the same kind of challenges, and you can network with people, you can come up with a lot of ideas and solutions. And a lot of the ideas that the city council are going to bring up, or the staff are going to bring up, a lot of them will come from our business owners. They're the ones that are on the front lines and facing the challenges that they need help with. And so certainly I would be here to support the Chamber of Commerce in any way I can, whether it be something that the Chamber of Commerce approaches me with or business owners approach me with, and whether it be, petitioning our legislators or anybody else to get involved. Anything that we can do to attract business to the city is what we want to do. We want to be able to have people, shop, dine, and be entertained in our city, and our city is winning that battle. It used to be that we had to go to Brea or Anaheim Hills, and now, the Anaheim Hills Theater that we all used to go to just closed, and now it's only here. And so Yorba Linda is winning, and the restaurants are doing very well, the stores that are coming in, our tax revenues are very strong. So we just want to continue that trend. There actually isn't a very high vacancy in our buildings right now, even for office space. And so it's kind of amazing coming out of a pandemic to be so successful as a city, but the city is continuously looking on ways to improve. And so I look forward to being a part of that partnership.
Thank you. Mayor Rodriguez.
Well, thank you. Being an advocate of the chambers is something that I've been doing for years. In fact, in 2006, the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce awarded me Corporate Advocate of the Year. So when it comes to chambers of commerce and local businesses, that's in my DNA. And we have an outstanding chamber of commerce. And I think part of what we can do to continue to elevate their services is making sure that when we're putting a program together, when we're having those opportunities to, as I've had a chance to speak at, and many of our council members have been able to speak at events, get to those ribbon cuttings, but also figure out what are the needs, what reforms can we have. We want to have that open door policy here. And the best way to do that is to be meeting with those local businesses. So again, part of that historic quick and swift allocation of $2.5 million that was mentioned earlier is working with my colleagues, was really tapping into getting the word out through our chamber and making sure that they could quickly disseminate that information so we could act fast. We didn't have time during the pandemic to move slowly. That's what happens with bureaucracy and government. It's so slow. We were able to move quickly, swiftly, and I think that was really because of the partnership and collaboration and being able to communicate with the chamber, getting the word out, and also, again, moving forward. Our city is committed to business. There should never be a situation where we are winning the battle. Again, I agree with that. When we're having a date night, it should be here in Yorba Linda, where we have great opportunities not only to dine and shop, but go to a movie. I mean, who knew? You don't need to go to Brea or Anaheim Hills anymore. You can just come over here and enjoy some family time here in Yorba Linda with some great dining opportunities. We want to continue to do that and build on that, and the future's bright. I'm really excited about the opportunities ahead of us.
Thank you. Janice Lim.
Was just recently, we just participated in the membership drive, and I think that's one of the things that drives our chamber is getting out there and calling people and telling about the services that the chamber could provide to our local businesses and even our online businesses too. I think we're trying to attract more people in the online sector as well too. Membership drive, during the pandemic was really tough on our local businesses. That's why Anthony Johnson and I and someone else had started the Young Ambassador Group, which young high schoolers could get their service hours and to participate in the Young Ambassador Group along with the chamber. And they would do marketing and services. They'll go out and do like a little reel and promote the businesses. But it's just things like that really enhances and promotes our chamber and to shop where your heart is. I mean, there's one of the things that we want to continue promoting is shop local and buy local, so that way we sustain the revenue here. I mean, our city is based on the revenue basis here, right? So we get a lot of our services are provided by the revenue that our businesses give us. So that's one of the things that we need to really focus on. And we think with this next session, we should really think about how we could promote our chamber more in the next coming years. I talked a little bit about the Job Connection Group, and that's partnering with the school district and partnering with other agencies like the chamber and and local businesses. And I think it's the neatest way to give them a lot of experience in the local restaurants. In particular restaurants, where we get some nice chefs that will come into businesses and they'll do a little session and teach kids how to own a business and how to be a chef. So, but those are some of the areas that I would look at in promoting our chamber. We love them.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to move on to our next issue area, which is safety. And our first question, we'll be starting with Mayor Carlos Rodriguez. The City of Yorba Linda has seen a major wildfire within its borders every decade since its incorporation. In 2020, the city experienced the devastating Blue Ridge Fire, which burned nearly 14,000 acres, resulting in the evacuation of approximately 4,000 properties and 10,000 people in the City of Yorba Linda. The fire also completely destroyed one home and damaged 10 other structures. What do you believe the city should do or continue to do to help mitigate wildfire risk and ensure emergency response protocols are in place and implemented in the event of a wildfire in the city?
Well, I appreciate the great job that our council and staff does, but I want to give a shout out to Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez for the job he does on OCFA and continuing to be that advocate. And so we have a great team on our council that's involved at a number of levels. And I would say for us, we just talked about the $58 million support of OCFA's 2 new helicopters that are going to help us when, not if, but when we have a wildfire scenario. I was proud to partner with, in my role as the South Coast Air Quality Management District, in a permitting effort that, during wildfires, having a reliable water source is essential. People need water to put out fires, obviously, and Yorba Linda Water District needs power to move water. So a natural gas backup generator that was permitted through AQMD that I helped permit will add that reliability to our system. When we have no offense to our friends in Edison, there's certain things that we can't, that happen when we have a power outage. But as a governing board member of AQMD, I had the privilege to assist in this clean energy project, and it's a critical step to ensure Yorba Linda families and homes are protected from power-related water emergencies thanks to this backup energy source. Those are the types of efforts that I've been able to bring in addition to serving on the council and serving as the Orange County City's representatives on AQMD. So anytime we can have the opportunity to invest in our firefighting resources, making sure they have all the services, all the resources they need, and then also looking at innovation like the gas generator that I was able to bring in coordination with the water district. I think more of the same, making sure that we're meeting with them and the firefighters, they have everything that they need to fight on the front lines. Thank you.
Very much. All right, Ms. Lim?
Okay, well, thank you so much. Yes, so like I mentioned before, I'm part of the local hazard mitigation committee, and one of the great things about this is that we do collaborate and we work together with the school district as well as the local fire department and the sheriff's department and other leadership committees. Maybe a month ago, Young Kim, our congresswoman, had put together an evacuation plan and invited a forum with all 4 fire departments. So we had Brea, Anaheim, Yorba Linda, of course, and Chino Hills. And we talked about shared resources and best practices and ways that we could enhance the fire safety measures and to mitigate on a lot of the fuel mitigation. And some of the problems that are challenges here in Yorba Linda is the high mountains that we have. We're all surrounded by the Chino Hills State Park. So, and that's a state park. So that's something that we all have to work together on. But it was good to talk about that and talk about the equipment that we could buy and some of the things that could help resource out in terms of how to fight in case of a fire. Also, evacuation plan. We also talked, that's something really important because East Yorba Linda is not surrounded, it only has one way in, one way out. So that's something that we're very, very familiar with and we're working on right now is the evacuation plan, especially with our Bryant Ranch Elementary School. So those are some of the things that I'm already currently working on right now for the safety measures of the fire and with the fire department. Thank you.
Mr. Bend.
Yeah, so I've been meeting with the city manager as well as our chief of police, and I've talked about these issues. The city has done a really good job about things as far as fighting fires. As you see, they've taken a regional approach, and they've just recently approved those two big water dropping helicopters. We have water tanks on top of the hills to be able to fill those types of helicopters up and be able to fight fires very well. But something that had been worked on previously was the evacuation plans. And the evacuation plans were revised, I want to say 8 or 10 years ago, and I think they've been revised a couple of times since. But they did a full plan for the city. And what you just mentioned is 100% true. People are completely still very fearful of the fires because they have a memory of what they lived through. And I spent hours on the phone with people last week because when you're talking about the high density issues, this kind of stuff comes up because that's their biggest concern is fire danger. And being able to evacuate or being able to get back to the school to pick their kids up from Bryant Ranch, as Janice mentioned. And so that's something that continues to need to be revised and reworked. I believe it's in place right now, but the biggest thing right now to me is that the community doesn't really know the plan. You know, I think that there is a solid plan. The sheriff's telling me, oh yeah, we can clear out this neighborhood in, this many minutes, We can bring in all the resources from the sheriff's department and all the fire people and all this kind of stuff. But the people don't really know what's going on. And so I think we need to do more community outreach. More kind of public forums, especially in the East, and let people know that here is the plan, here's how to do it. If people want to even participate in some sort of practice drill, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. But that's the kind of thing that we need to do and encourage so that people understand the plans we have in place so they can feel more comfortable about their safety and being able to evacuate. And also we need to just encourage our public to respect when you're told to get out, because sometimes people stay behind and they think they're going to be okay. And you need to really trust our law enforcement and firefighter professionals as we've seen in other states that have other kind of disasters. So thank you.
Recently, there have been some businesses in Yorba Linda that have unfortunately experienced burglaries. How will you work with law enforcement to keep the community safe? And we're going to start with Janice Lim.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of the crime element been increasing recently, and it's something that we're all very concerned with. And it's not just businesses, but it's homes too as well. And I think one of the things that I set forward with Joseph Wailewa, our chief of police, is a neighborhood watch program that could extend to businesses too as well. We have 110 existing neighborhood watch programs here in Yorba Linda, but a lot of them aren't really functioning in a high level that it needs to be. So we already plan to reach out. We already have 35 and growing community members that are interested in being a part of this program. So neighborhood watch is one of them, is to be very to be vigilant. I think with the shortage of police officers on foot and just the increase in crime that we've seen, I think we have to really educate our neighbors on how to be more vigilant with each other and our properties. The other thing I would like to add to is cameras, and that's something that we were trying to look into to see if that's something that's going to be something that our city would want to be participating in, or is something that an individual groups would like to participate in. But so those are some of the things that we're looking in high-tech self-defense or high-tech defense, property defense. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ben.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with crime is that it only grows if you can't defeat it, right? And when I look at the safest cities in Orange County, I mean, Yorba Linda is continuously one of the safest cities. But you look at the ones that are number 1 and number 2, it's like Aliso Viejo and Mission Viejo, and it really has a lot to do with the surrounding cities, the cities that surround them. And so we definitely have some cities around us that do have higher crime rates, and it certainly spills over to our area. And Yorba Linda is known for having successful businesses, successful residents, and these are the kind of people that people would like to rob. Janice is absolutely right as far as we need to encourage technology and be able to partner with businesses and our residents on best and safe practices. I think the sheriff's department's really good about doing those kind of community forums, not only for like drug use, but also like theft and all that sort of thing, to encourage people and educate the public and encourage them to use best practices that they've discovered to prevent crime and to report crime. So I think we need to continue to encourage that with our sheriff's department. We are lucky that our sheriffs do represent several cities, so they certainly, when they can catch a criminal, sometimes they might catch him in another city and they realize that they were the ones that did the Yorba Linda crime, because they actually cover many cities and unincorporated areas as well. We need to continue to fight to educate our people and our businesses and partner any way we can to help keep crime as minimal as possible.
Thank you. Mayor Rodriguez?
You know, there's always room for improvement. Even though Yorba Linda is ranked as one of the safest cities in California and the country, and was recently named the 3rd safest small city in California, we could always do better. I think that starts with the idea of education and making sure that residents know about best practices, opportunities for public forums. An idea I would have is maybe we can work with our law enforcement to put together a video series of reminders of what can be done to keep your house safe. And we hear, as silly as it might seem, we have the captain talk at council meetings about don't forget to lock your door for your cars, because or don't leave valuable items in your car. Those type of best practices that are that not only are at council meetings, but maybe a video series that would also augment a public forum where we can make sure that we're sharing that with the public. This is where, again, partnering with the chamber is so vital. We can also bridge those best practices in law enforcement and making sure that information gets to our businesses and our small businesses. So I think there's opportunity to build upon what the chamber does great, which is communication, and make sure we have that partnership between law enforcement and our business community and getting that information as well. So again, there's always room for improvement. Sacramento's not making it any easier with a soft on crime approach, where these criminals are not stupid. If they steal something that's less than $1,000, they get a slap on the wrist. So it is very challenging for our law enforcement. I've heard their frustration. We're going to continue to do everything we can to provide more than adequate boots on the ground. If they need it, I know our council number one priority is public safety, and we're going to be fiscally responsible. But if there's a need, we're going to look at it really closely and make sure we do everything we can to make that come to fruition. So I think those are some of the things that we can continue to do to address those issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, our next section is going to be on land use. So the first question will be starting with Mr. Bent. What is your vision for keeping Yorba Linda's retail spaces current while maintaining the city's small town feel?
Well, I think so far the city's been doing a really good job on keeping, having new businesses come in that are very relevant and trendy, but they also have a very classic look and feel. A lot of small businesses that have started, and we've had like dessert shops come up, they've just blended really well into the background of Yorba Linda, but yet they're very popular. People are definitely going to them. So I think that trend needs to continue. I think every business that comes in needs to fit inside of Yorba Linda very well, and so far it seems like they have. I think that as we go ahead and grow in the future, we need to continue keeping these spaces available for business, because right now, what I see is the state almost wants you to turn retail space or commercial buildings into high-density housing. So that's a concern that I have, because we don't have a lot of space in our city, period, but we don't have a lot of room to give up businesses either, or any kind of commercial space. So we need to continue to fight to preserve the businesses that we have and the business buildings that we have for both retail and commercial. And we also need to work with the state on our regional housing plans so that we can kind of try to maintain our low-density heritage as much as we possibly can.
Thank you very much. All right, Mayor Rodriguez.
We are absolutely committed to doing everything we can to ensure that businesses stay in Yorba Linda and we can attract as many as possible. We meet very regularly as a council with our economic development team, with our Chamber of Commerce, and we're trying to find new ways to recruit. What could we do to, we're so close, bricks on the main, they were gonna come, financing fell through. So there are times where everything's set up and then there's an economic situation that's out of our control. But that's okay. That opportunity is still there. I'm not going to give anything away. I'm optimistic. I think we're real close to seeing what was going to be bricks on the main be something else that we're going to still very much enjoy. So those opportunities, we're presenting those, and then the market is the market. But at the same time, we can be actively engaged. Word travels. And the word on the street is we're open for business. And we're going to continue to be open for business. We're going to continue to attract the best business opportunities in our city. Why should anyone else decide to go anywhere else but Yorba Linda? That's a question that we continue to make those arguments when we meet with a vendor that we have been working with over the last few years to lay out the entire city. Where are those vacancies, and what are we doing specifically? Who are we speaking to? When was the last time we talked to them? What are our options? So we're pressing that vendor very regularly and challenging them to make sure that we not only get back to where we are now, pre-pandemic levels as far as vacancies, but do even better. So I'm excited about the opportunities ahead as far as economic development. We have so much great residents here that have the opportunity to use some of that discretionary income. So businesses know that Yorba Linda is a place to do business, and we're going to keep doing that.
Thank you. Ms. Lim.
Well, I think the question was how to keep the small town feel of Yorba Linda. And I think one of the things is a balance, right? Because right now, our biggest revenue source is probably Costco, and that's a big box retailer, versus someone that we want to bring in, a mom and pop. I'd love to see more Eureka Pizza or Monarch 9 or a lot of these mom and pop shops that are just starting up. Station's Donut is one of my favorites. So it's that balance to find both the mix between the big box retailer and the small mom and pops, and keeping it to the small town feel of what we have. So again, I would appeal to keeping the fees low, and also to help out with the taxes, to don't increase taxes on them, and also to help with the tenant improvements. I mean, these are some of the starter ups where these small mom and pop shops struggle with, because coming in, you have to come up with a lot of money to do that, and which is the reason why you don't qualify for a lot of the funding. So those are some of the issues and some of the things that I would find a balance between the small box big box retailers, like we have this exciting new Target coming in town, you guys. This is exciting. And then also with the small town feel of our mom and pops, our little local restaurants, because they're the bread and butter of our city. So we'll keep working on it, and I'll ensure that I'll keep working on it too.
Thank you very much. All right, next question. To comply with state housing law, on August 9th, the Yorba Linda City Council approved 19 potential sites to be considered for rezoning by Yorba Linda voters. The housing plan revision is part of the state's Regional Housing Needs Assessment, or RHNA, process. The vote to approve the rezoning will appear as Measure Z on the ballot this November. Originally, the City Council had been presented with 27 housing sites for rezoning. However, due to public concerns, the Council removed 4 sites from being considered for rezoning and deferred any action on 4 additional sites. This is a 2-part question. First, do you support Measure Z? And second, what are your thoughts if Measure Z is not approved? And we're going to start with Mayor Rodriguez.
Well, with regards to the ballot measure, I'll be voting no on Measure Z. We will then have 2 years for additional public input to improve the plan, which was the intent of my original vote, and what the City Council voted to apply in delaying action on 3 other properties: the Bryant Ranch with 320, Richfield with 340, and Fairmont with 230. That's almost 40% of the plan was put off for 2 years using the state law that is in place, SB 197. So as to that issue, if the vote goes through no, we'll have 2 years to make it better. And I think just the fact that for the last 90 days up to that August vote, tremendous input. And I think that's why the council utilized the state law to put off putting those on the ballot. 40% of our plan was put off for 2 years using that state law because of the public input. So the opportunity to vote no, the HCD, that Housing Community Development, I think I'm the only one that's ever sat down and met with them through my profession. They've said, what happens if we don't pass it? And they said, it goes back on a ballot in 2 years. So we'll take that opportunity for public input. We'll make it better. The Savvy Ranch, the owner of that property, said there's potentially 300 units that aren't even in the plan right now that could be considered. That's an opportunity to vet, to get the input, to go back, as I had asked for, and my colleagues, go back to Traffic Commission, go back to the commission level. Let's vet this plan. We'll be better off in the entirety by having more public input, more engagement. Let's not forget, the pandemic, we know what we were going through back then, and people weren't going out and getting engaged in public hearings. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Lim.
You know, this is a really difficult one because, you know, I attended the city council meeting on that day where the vote of measure ballot was put on, and the attorney was really clear. He said if we don't get if we only get the additional 2 years if we're in compliance. So we put back 4, we deferred another 4. So we put back 4 with 68 units. We deferred 4, which is about over 800 units, and then we have the 19 left. So the measure ballot was considered to be supporting the 75% of the housing allocation. If we did that, if we voted, if we didn't vote, if we didn't have it, we'd be out of compliance. And what does that mean? When you're out of compliance, that means developers will step in. So it's kind of a little bit misleading when you say that you that someone would want to vote no, because when you vote no, it just means that you're going to be out of compliance, and then you're going to let the developers come right in. Listen, I've been studying this issue for the last 6 years. It's nothing new to me. I've seen all the cities that sued the state and sued the city. I mean, a lot of developers sued this city, and all of them, all the cities lost. For example, we have Burbank in Burbank, they had the Pickwick. It was 5-0 both times. The city voted 5-0 to turn it down. The developer came back and sued, and it's very costly. It's millions and millions of dollars in suing the city, and the city suing the developers. So it is not going to be just as simple as deferring and voting no. When you vote no, means that you're opening the doors for the developers to come in to sue the city. And that's a cost that we cannot afford to take. Thank you.
It sounded like it was directed at me for a moment, so maybe we'll have a rebuttal opportunity a little later.
I'll direct something at you. So, so is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. So in 2 years, no matter what, whether this passes or fails, in 2 years, we're either going to have the remaining 25% of properties on the ballot, or we're going to have a full 100% if this gets voted down. I won't take any donations from any builders, contractors, or unions, but our mayor has no problems financing his campaign with builders. I am extremely concerned about the fact that he's not just no on Z, he actually voted to not even put it on the ballot, which would have been a violation of our promises in our housing element plan. And if we didn't put that on the ballot, we could have been decertified and immediately fined. Ultimately, the state could take it over, and you know what happens when that happens? The builders make out like bandits because they don't have to go through our city approval process. So I am very concerned that he didn't just say yes to put it on the ballot and then say, well, I'm no on Z because of this property or that property. Another thing I'm concerned about is that the rest of the city council is for it because they were so invested over the last 4 to 6 years trying to work on it, trying to find the best possible properties that people could agree on. And my question is, were you asleep at the wheel? Were you not participating in that during that time? Because I can tell you in 2 years, I will be supporting whatever's on the ballot because on city council, I'll be involved in that whole process. I'll be trying to work with residents, try to find properties that they can't accept. And nobody wants mandated high density. Nobody, not a single city council person, and not a single resident wants this. But it's being forced on the state, and as Janice mentioned, so far the state is undefeated. So it's a matter of maintaining local control, so we have the control over what things look like, what the traffic flow is, what the fire dangers are. versus the state can build whatever they want. The builders can come in and, and do whatever they want. And so we don't want that. We need to maintain local control. It had to be on the ballot. So I commend the rest of the city council for doing the right thing to get it on the ballot. Thank you.
Let me wipe a little of the mud off there from the sling in there.
It's just true.
So one of the things that I want to make it really abundantly clear is that it's a new law. So any reference to undefeated, other lawsuits, that doesn't apply to the new law that is SB 197. It's brand new. And our state has already said, if we don't pass Measure Z, we go back in 2 years. So, as far as, those are the facts. And it wasn't until September that I saw you at any meeting. So, welcome to the engagement.
I have to clarify that. If you don't pass it, that means that the developers have the right to build without, and then we will lose local control over the development. They could go as high as you want. They don't have to abide by the traffic mitigation or any of that. They don't allow for any open spaces or schools. So that is kind of really misleading, don't you think?
No, it's not misleading at all. The state has indicated that it would go back to the ballot and the zoning would stay the same as it is
I
currently.
thought that was directed at me. Yes, I do think. Thank you, Janice.
All right. Okay, well, we're going to move on if that's okay. And we are a little ahead of schedule, which is good news. So I've got a surprise, but it's a good surprise. We received a late question from a student from El Dorado High School. Her name is Madison Pond. And her question was, if you are elected, what do you think a day as a council member would look like? And so we will go ahead and start with Janice.
Oh, I love this question. You know why? Because during my time of campaigning, the most amazing part was getting to know more people. And I thought that was going to be really hard. But as I was stepping into the doors of just strangers, honestly, they were so generous and so kind. I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to continue going out to the neighborhoods and starting to connect people together. We have a lot of senior citizens here in Yorba Linda, and a lot of them feel displaced, even maybe a little marginalized. And I think I'd like them to come back and to participate in some of our great activities at the community center, and just to see them getting out there once again. A lot of them feel stuck since the pandemic. So, yeah, I would love that opportunity to be on council and to engage with all our community members, from our youngest ones at Adventure Playground that's going to enjoy our splash pad that's coming up, to our older senior citizens that are just, that just would love to just have a cup of tea with them. So thank you for that question. That was a very good question.
Thank you. Mr. Bent.
Yeah, to me, some of the fun parts of the job is the ceremonial parts, where you get to meet everybody in the community, get to go to events and that sort of thing. Because there's a lot of work that's done at the city council that people don't really understand. The amount of work that people put in to prepare for the agendas and the meetings. And I remember so many city council meetings where there was several properties being decided on, and I know city council members that went to every single one of those properties to check them out in person before voting, before casting their vote. So there's a lot of work to be done as city council. But the enjoyment comes from really being out there in the community and getting a chance to participate in some of those community events. And that's one thing I get to do as trustee for the community colleges as well. There's a lot of work for those meetings, but being able to mentor students and be a guest lecturer and visit classrooms and get a chance to, meet the next generation is something I really enjoy.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Living it the last 4 years, it's not so glamorous. You're having an opportunity to every Monday talk to Mark Pallone. We're talking about how we're going to handle vacancies, issues or concerns by residents, new traffic-related concerns, public works projects. Really, at the end of the day, it's being a problem solver. And that's what I specialize in the last 25 years in a public and private sector as a CEO and an executive. So being able to work with a great team of colleagues, an outstanding staff, and being able to make sure that they know that they have our support, but also at the same time, it's also, there is that engagement. I didn't get in this to cut ribbons, but it matters. It matters to that business that's opening up for the first time. You better believe it. And so whenever we can go to that moment, that opportunity to support our local businesses, meeting with the Chamber of Commerce, hearing in that roundtable when we're meeting with Anthony and the rest of the team, the Chamber leadership, and finding out what can we do. That's the open question that we have with Mark Pallone, and then when I have the captain there, we're saying, what can we do to help the business community? And at the same time, being able to hear from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of residents who were concerned about the issue that we just talked about on the housing front, about what are we going to do as far as being able to evacuate, as we talked about earlier. How are we going to handle this density? We haven't even talked about it. I didn't know about this. We were in a pandemic. When did we hear about this? So hearing all those concerns and taking it to heart and being able to make sure that we do everything we can collectively, and it's okay as a council to agree to disagree. I think 99% of the time we have agreed on things. So being able to work together in a collaborative way, I think that's also very rewarding.
Thank you. All right, you all survived the issues portion of the program, and we're going to have a little bit of fun right now, if that's okay with you all. We're going to go to our lightning round. So these are going to be kind of rapid fire responses, 1 to 2 sentences. And we're going to start with Mr. Bent. First question, favorite place in Yorba Linda?
Well, I'm completely biased. My favorite place is the library, of course. I'm a library commissioner along with Alex over here, Alex Hernandez, and I absolutely love the place. I mean, I'm so happy that our city did the right thing to build that, and our previous city council made the decision to approve that construction. It's something we actually wouldn't be able to build today because it would be doubled in price. So I'm so thankful that it was approved when it was, and so we have this gem for our city that'll last for decades.
Okay, great. And I think we put 2 minutes on the counter, but we're not going to spend 2 minutes on each of these, or we will be here very late, unless you guys want to stay. I don't have anywhere to be, but all right. So we'll go to Mayor Rodriguez. Same question. Favorite place in Yorba Linda?
I'd have to say lately Lasorda Fieldhouse. I'm a coach. I'm loving spending time with the kids, coaching my son, my daughter. I think most families probably know me more as Coach Carlos than Mayor, and I like it that way. And, just being able to have the memories and being able to spend time and have the parents that trust you to go out and teach the game, whether it's basketball or we do some flag football there. I got Coach Steve back there. But it's really rewarding, and I love being able to teach not only the game of basketball, but life skills. And it's been a blessing. And so I'd say Lasorda Fieldhouse.
Wonderful. Ms. Lim?
My favorite place is Concert in the Parks. I mean, how many of you guys have been to the Concert in the Parks, right? It's a wonderful, enjoyable time. It's when our community comes together, especially coming out from the pandemic. It's so wonderful to see people eat and dine and just being out there on the lawn and just enjoying the company of each other. So my favorite place would be Concert in the Parks.
Thank you. Mayor Rodriguez, who is your inspiration and why?
I'd say, God rest her soul, my mom. I think a lot of folks know that I was born in the Bronx, New York, and we moved when I was 2, and just, she's my hero. Her work ethic, her sacrifice, I think, without a doubt, Naomi Rodriguez is my hero and inspires me to this day.
Okay, my favorite would probably be, I have a Bible study leader at Friends Church, and her name is Dawn Zabata, and she's my inspiration because she has done a lot of great things and self-sacrificed a lot of her time just to give back to our community, to our women's groups that we have there. And she did it for free for 18 years. But not only that, but she really showed what strength, dignity, and just the way she persevered through a lot of her lot of her ailments and stuff. And you just can never tell, but she's my inspiration because I really look up to her, because I always look to her godly advice, but I also look towards her, just how she persevered and struggled and just really made it through. So Dawn Zabata is my inspiration.
Thank you. Mr. Bent.
For me, it's easy. It's my grandparents, because they not only served our country during some of the hardest times in this country's history, but they continue to serve long after retirement. You know, they serve their community and were very involved for decades. And now I see my parents that are retiring, some of you all are that busy now too, and it's just absolutely amazing to see, because a lot of times people focus on their career and then they'll retire and try to enjoy life. But I really respect the people that enjoy life while serving others and giving back to the community. And our community here is very blessed to have a lot of people like that. But that's the kind of people my grandparents were, and they've certainly inspired me to serve in any capacity I can.
Great. This should be a one-sentence answer. So we'll start with you, Janice. What was your worst subject in school?
Believe it or not, it was math, but it was also my favorite subject too, in a way that I struggled with it because it didn't come naturally to me, but yet it almost seemed like it was expected to be natural for me. But I did struggle with it, but I enjoy learning and going through the process. One of my favorite subjects was physics, which had a lot of math in it.
So I was named Student of the Month for Spanish, but the hilarious part of that was it took me 4 years to get to level 2. And I only got Student of the Month because I sold the most nachos at the nacho stand, because I knew everybody at the school. I said, hey, come over here and buy nachos. And the teacher rewarded me with that Student of the Month thing. But it was not my strongest subject, and it was a challenge for me. And I'm decent now, but I needed all 4 years to get to level 2.
Mayor Rodriguez.
I still remember telling Mom, get me out of this basic programming class my sophomore year in high school, and the teacher wouldn't let me out. So I thought it was going to be about learning about video games and things of that nature, what 14 and 15-year-olds back in the day enjoyed. Yeah, that basic programming class didn't work out so well.
Thank you. All right, no explanation, but just 3 words that describe you. We'll start with Mr. Bent.
Integrity, honesty, ethics.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Family, dedication, work ethic. Oops, that's 4.
Ms. Lim.
Genuine, honest, and kind.
Thank you. All right, and in the spirit of Halloween, next question is, what scares you, Mayor Rodriguez?
High taxes. There's a lot of them, too many of them here in California. I don't like that, or big government.
Thank you. Ms. Lim?
Uncertainty. I think I see that a lot in our community right now, and that scares me. It keeps me up at night. It honestly does. And I just see it in their faces, and I worry about them. So uncertainty scares me.
Thank you. Mr. Bent?
For me, it's unethical elected officials, because to me, they're everything that's wrong with politics, and we all need to watch out for that and hold ourselves and our colleagues to the highest possible standards.
Thank you. All right, final fun question here is your favorite memory in Yorba Linda, and we'll start with Ms. Lim.
My favorite memory in Yorba Linda would probably be when we first were moving into Yorba Linda, and we didn't have much, but we had enough, and we're looking at homes. And one of the first time I walked into the homes up in Hidden Hills it was just so beautiful. And I just remembered the drive going through there, the green pastures, and just the hills that were green and just beautiful. That was my favorite memory.
Mr. Bent?
I mean, I have so many memories, but the one, it's not even a legitimate memory, but I remember, to me, I used to play on the soccer field, baseball field back here, and when Nixon died, all the living presidents landed their helicopter right on this field. to go to the funeral. And that to me was like such a big deal, for this little city and for me. And it's like, sometimes I'd walk on that grass and be like, oh my gosh, presidents were here, because it was before I had a chance to actually go to Washington, D.C. and really respect the history of this country. But it was like the history came to us that day. It was really a big deal.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Oh, Roy, well, I would say bringing my children, my wife and I bringing our children home to our first home in Yorba Linda. That was a special. I think every parent can remember that first time when you take your little child from the hospital and you bring them home, and what a wonderful place that Rhonda and I have chosen to raise our children. And I'll never forget bringing them home, and that's why I'm here, because I want to make sure that they continue to have great memories like so many families have had in years past.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, thank you for answering those questions. Let's, before we get to closing statements, let's just give a round of applause to our candidates. All right, so we will go through 2-minute closing statements, and we'll be starting with Mr. Ryan Bent.
Thank you all for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm asking for your vote. I am the grassroots candidate in this race, and I just want to remind you that when you receive mailer after Facebook ad, and all the different methods of being communicated with, I want you to think about where that money came from that's paying for that, and understand if that's the kind of person that you want serving you. I have 100% of my donations are from residents. And I'm just trying to get the word out as good as I can to let them know that we need to have high ethics on our city council. I actually know I'll be able to work very well with either Carlos or Janice. I'm really happy to be in this race, but I entered this race because I wanted to give people a first choice candidate. I'm homegrown from this city. I've been here, and my wife has been here, and we bought our first home here to raise our kids. I know I'll represent you very well over the next 4 years, and I hope you support me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Rodriguez.
I want to thank the Yorba Linda Chamber of Commerce in Southern California Edison for hosting tonight's forum. The residents of Yorba Linda can count on me to listen to your concerns and protect our neighborhoods against reckless high-density development. I believe in local control, not state control, over land development and housing issues that directly impact the quality of life for those of us living here. That's why I'm voting no on Measure Z. Although I respect the decision of my council colleagues to have a different viewpoint, I believe Yorba Linda deserves a housing plan that better reflects our local values. State law gives Yorba Linda another 2 years to expand our community engagement and create a consensus housing plan that doesn't create any negative impacts on our existing neighborhoods. Other cities are taking advantage of the extra time afforded by the state law. Yorba Linda is taking advantage of that law on 40% of the properties that were in our plan. I also believe in putting public safety first. That's why I support full funding of local law enforcement to patrol our neighborhoods, schools, and business districts. This commitment has helped Yorba Linda maintain a status as one of California's safest communities. I'm dedicated to protecting our open space and trails. These precious resources must be preserved for the enjoyment of our citizens and for our future generations. I'm also an active advocate of Yorba Linda's youth as a coach, and I also serve on the Yorba Linda Chamber Foundation to raise college scholarship monies for our deserving local high school seniors. On a personal note, I'm a proud husband and father of 2 children attending Travis Ranch School. My wife Rhonda and I cannot imagine raising our children anywhere else. It's truly an honor to represent you all on the City Council. Working together, we've achieved many successes for Yorba Linda. In these turbulent times, our city remains a safe, well-managed, and family-friendly community for our residents. With your support on November 8th, I will continue to preserve and protect the high community standards that make Yorba Linda such a truly special place to call home. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lim.
Well, again, thank you again. It is an honor to be here. The past several months, I've knocked on many doors, and I've got to understand the plight of some of our citizens. Some of them were just great, wonderful, and they were very warm and embracing. And some of them were just really heartbreaking stories. And again, I just wanted to say this about our senior citizens. That's something that we really need to start focusing on, because it's a growing population here. 23% of our citizens here are senior citizens, and 30% of them are single. So they feel uncertain at these times, and we really need to reach out to them and to build communication and give them more resources. That's something that I really want to focus on when I get on council. Also, we're faced with uncertain times, and I think our city is going in the wrong direction, perhaps. I believe that the vision of our city will help, I believe my vision for the city will help bring us back to that place where we can look and focus on our public safety as well as our local local businesses, as well as our improvement on our engagement program. Being on council is going to take someone like me to take time to listen to people, to create relationship, build consensus, has an expertise in urban design and finance, and a history of serving people in impactful ways. It's not about voting week after week and taking the credit for it. It's going to be someone who's a commitment and knowledgeable and committed about complicated issues, and someone who has a solid service background. That's the reason why I earned the support of many of my community leaders, including former Congressman Ed Royce, Congresswoman Young Kim, Assemblyman Philip Chin, Mayor Tom Lindsay, council members Tara Campbell and Beth Haney. I have worked and continue to work with them and know the character of my tendencies. They know I will stand up and fight for our shared vision, the land of gracious living. Thank you so much.
Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you so much to our candidates. On behalf of the Yorba Linda Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to once again thank our candidates for being here tonight to provide us with this opportunity to get to know each of you better, and also for stepping up to run for these very important leadership positions. We applaud you and we thank you for that. And thank you again to our audience for being here. For those that are watching at home, please don't forget to vote on November 8th. And with that, I wish everyone a wonderful evening. Have a great night.
Good night. Yeah.